We've all heard Roto-Rooter over the years, but there's a lot of DIY things that you can do to solve those clogs before you call your professional. So we're going to start with a couple really easy ones. And the first has to do with the sink plunger. I know I'm totally crazy, but I love this little sink plunger. I think it is too cute. It reminds me of playing Atari as a teenager. But the great thing about this little guy is that it's $3 at the home center. And you might be wondering, why do I need a sink plunger when I have a toilet plunger? Well, here's the deal. This one is a lot more flexible. It gets into those small spaces where the drain is against the wall of your sink. But the bigger reason is that these two things should never cross paths, okay? Let the E. coli germs stay where they go, and then this can go in your sink. Now, the beauty of this is that it is so flexible. So no matter what size sink, tub, or shower you have, this will cover your drain and give you flexibility to push that air to hit that clog. You can also use this on that garbage disposer, which is a great thing. Now, when it comes time for choosing a toilet plunger, you really need to choose wisely. And you're thinking, a toilet plunger is a toilet plunger. Nope, not really. This one is awesome because it has this flange on the bottom, which allows you to push the air further down into that drain line. If you've ever tried to use the standard stiff brown plunger, you notice that the air just pops up around the side of the bowl instead of going down and pushing the air towards the clog. So invest in a better plunger, like a toilet one. This one even has a little handle that pops up to give you more length if you need a little more reach. And what I always tell people is, this is not art. No one wants to see the plunger sitting in the corner of your bathroom. We all know where it's been, and it's gross. So after you have plunged, disinfect it, put it in a grocery bag loosely, and store it under the sink or in the hall closet. Now, if Uncle Buck is coming to spend the weekend at your house, and every time that uncle comes, he clogs your toilet, well, then you leave it for him. But otherwise, nobody wants to see it. Now, when it comes to other clogs throughout your house, I want to show you one of my favorites. This is a fabulous tool called the Zip It Stick. Now, this tool, again, is $3 at your home center, sometimes less. It's made in America, which is an awesome feature. And it comes in a little package. It's 18 inches long, and it's a flexible tool with spikes, little barbs up and down the 18-inch run that allow you to get deep into your drain and pull out the hairballs. Hairballs and residue and gummy slime from shaving and toothpaste and things will clog your drains. So it's great to have this tool. You can use this on sinks, tubs, and showers. You would never try it on a garbage disposer, and you obviously would never use it on a toilet, but it's perfect for sinks, tubs, and showers. So the way this works is you're going to glide this down your sink drain. You do not have to take, ooh, here we go. Isn't that disgusting? This is thread, but in your house, it's going to pull up a nasty, clumpy ball of hair and slime. It is so much better to pull this stuff out than to push it down. So you want to remove this from the drain so that you can allow the water to move freely and get rid of that clump. The beauty of this tool is, again, you don't have to take your sink plunger out, but you can use this a couple times a month, especially if you have long hair like I do. So it recommends a one-time use, but you can probably get 2 or 3 uses out of it. Rinse it off when you're finished, pull off the clumps, and I store it back in my container again. Now, you want to make sure before you use it that it is still flexible. If you pull it out of the package and it feels the least bit brittle, don't use it. Go buy a new one. But it's a fabulous product, and it will really eliminate a lot of those clogs, because there's nothing grosser than standing in the shower in your own dirty water because the drain is slow. So that's an easy trick that you can do at home. Another super easy trick involves baking soda and vinegar. It's easy, it's cheap, and it's all natural. So when you notice you have slow moving drains, you can take a cup of baking soda, even a half a cup. You don't have to measure it, but roughly half a cup to a cup of baking soda, and pour it down into your drain. Sometimes I'll take an index card or a piece of paper and create a little funnel so that I'm pushing it right down into the open neck of the drain. And then you're going to follow it up by pouring in vinegar. Now, when this happens, you're going to have that bubbling like a little science experiment. So it's important that you close the drain. You want to plug up the drain so that you keep all of that energy that is breaking up the clog in the drain. Now, you have those overflow holes in your sink. Now, you know when you have your sink basin and that little hole that's near your belly button, if you peek in, well, you want to stuff paper towel or even a wash rag in those holes, because all of that energy from the baking soda and vinegar should be moving towards the clog and not coming right back out. So put in your baking soda, put in your vinegar, close up the drain, give it about 10 minutes. Then you're going to come along with a kettle full of boiling hot water. Pour that down there and your drain will be clean, it'll smell fresh, and things will start moving along. This is cheap and easy, and you can do it as a maintenance thing. Maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter, whatever you feel you need to keep those drains moving cleanly. So don't forget about using the baking soda and vinegar trick on sinks, tubs, and showers too. And the beauty of it, you can use it on the garbage disposer because it's all natural, and if it splashes back on you, there's no problem. But there's one product that I want to warn you about when it comes to clogs, and that is liquid drain cleaners. I am not a fan of liquid drain cleaners, hence the chicken that's in peril on the front of this bottle. The drain cleaners are very caustic. They are filled with lye and chemicals that are not necessarily good for the environment and for your pipes, especially if you have steel drains. But more importantly, they're not good for you, because if you use one of these drain cleaners and you have a splashback, you risk getting burned. So I really advise that you try these other all-natural remedies before you resort to using a drain cleaner. Now, if you do, you want goggles, you want gloves, and you want to make sure that you've covered your hands and your arms. If you do some of these methods and you still just can't get that clog to move and end up calling a plumber in, make sure that you tell him what you've used, because he wants to make sure he's protected too. And if you don't tell him that you used any of these chemicals, he may not put on his cover, and then you're liable for his medical bills. You don't want that either. So be upfront, tell him what you've tried and what you haven't. So before you give that plumber a call though, there's one last clog busting tool that I want to share, and that is a snake. Now, many of you have heard Roto-Rooter, we've heard of augers. This is a sink auger. Augers, or snakes, come in different sizes. There is one for toilets, which is much bigger, it's a little thicker, and they have some for sinks, which are very narrow and have a smaller, more delicate tip. Now I'm going to pop this out and show you the end of this. It looks like a rattlesnake, and the point of it is that it can grab a hold of your clog and it can pull the clog out. Say your kid stuffed a wash rag down your toilet. You could use this possibly to pull that back out. Now, maybe you want to push the obstruction along so that it moves down your drain line. You never quite know what's going to happen with a sink auger or a drain auger. It might push it and it might pull it out, but you can give this a try. Now, I don't recommend DIYers do this if you have old metal or steel drains, because they're more fragile and they might have a rust spot. But if you have PVC, white plastic, you can be a little more playful with trying to do this on your own. Now, keep in mind you want to buy the right auger for the right piece of plumbing, sink, tub, or shower, toilet. But if you use an auger, I want you to make sure that you grab a towel, because you want to line the sink or the toilet bowl with a towel, because that can scratch the porcelain. And I don't want you to be frustrated that you got the clog moved, but now your whole toilet bowl is scratched up. So make sure that you use a towel and you fill the whole bottom in while you use your snake. But make sure you pull the towel out before you flush the toilet, because you don't want that going down there. So I hope these little remedies will help you get rid of these clogs, save money, and prevent you from calling the plumber.